A really important thing in this topic is that you know the different types of agreements or contracts, so awards, enterprise agreements, and individual contracts. But an even more important thing is that you can talk about their advantages and disadvantages. Now, remember, in your textbook, awards might be called modern awards, and enterprise agreements might be called collective agreements. Same thing. An individual contract is not technically part of our course. In the study design, it doesn't say it has to be in there, but it's not a bad thing we might need to talk about or could talk about at some point in time. So let's go through it. Let's start with an award. Now, have you forgotten what an award is? It's an employment contract to apply to all workers within a particular industry. You can check out the video on that. What are the advantages of having a contract? So if I'm an employer or an employee working at, say, a mine in WA, what is good about having all the miners that work there work on the same contract for the entire mining industry? Well, one, it ensures fairness between employees. All employees receive the same wages and conditions, which prevents jealousies and comparisons between workers. Now, if I'm an employer, this is huge. No negotiation is required. Let's say I'm setting up a brand new mine today, like a whole new business, right? And I've got to find a contract for everyone. Well, with the award, it's already been negotiated. We'll look at how it's negotiated in the next video, but it's already done. It's already been done by the unions and the industry. And what that means is I don't have to do any negotiating. I can just go to all my employees. I can go to the website, print off the award and go, here it is. There's your employment contract. So that's a real advantage. And the last one, it's the industry standard. So, I don't need to know if I use the award, I know I'm not going to be paying less than any other miner. So it gives everyone the same employment standards as competitors who also use the award. What are the disadvantages? Well, it's very inflexible. So the business uses a contract designed for the entire industry and can't tailor that contract to the specific needs of its business and employees. So forget mining for a second, let's take the retail industry. There's a general retail award, but why don't we just talk about department stores? So let's say that award could apply to someone working in Kmart or someone working in a fancy department store, let's say David Jones. Well, they do very different jobs. So at Kmart, you're just there to stock the shelves and, help people at the self-checkout maybe. You're not really there in a customer service role. But at David Jones, that is why you were there. That is their point of difference as a business. You're there to serve people. So why would I have an award that would cover someone at David Jones and give them the exact same conditions as Kmart? That makes no sense. That's too inflexible. Also, a lack of employee motivation. The business can't motivate and reward its employees, its better employees, for their performance because everyone's going to get the same wages and conditions. And lastly, recruitment. It's going to be difficult to recruit employees from competitors if I'm just offering the award, because by definition, that's kind of the minimum for the industry, and they're either getting that or better now. So it's going to be hard to entice them to move to my business. So we decide we're going to have our own enterprise agreement or collective agreement. So I'm David Jones. I'm going to have my own agreement for all my workers working at David Jones. What's good about that? Well, flexibility now. I create a contract that is tailored to meet the specific needs of my business and its employees without being stuck using the award that everyone else does. 2, it's a great recruitment tool because now when I try and recruit workers, I can go, we will give you better than award conditions at our business because we have our own enterprise agreement. And lastly, motivation. The business can design a contract that rewards its employees for improved performance, which is not a condition in the award. So not only can we pay them more, but we can put things in there including bonuses and such. What are the disadvantages? Well, costs. Literally, we've got to have this better off overall or BOO condition. And that means whether it's money or conditions, the employees are going to be better off on my enterprise agreement than they would have been with the award. So therefore, the costs to my business are going to increase. 2, it is limited flexibility. So while we can tailor this contract to the needs of the business, we can't tailor it to the needs of each individual employee. So take David Jones, for example. It's got many different departments, and within those departments are quite different. So let's say you worked in the clothing department versus the makeup counter. They're very different jobs. Yet, if I've got an enterprise agreement, all those workers are going to get the exact same conditions. So it's kind of limited. Also, I can't really reward my better employees. So they're going to get paid the same as the worst employees. But this is the big one, negotiation. If I'm starting a business today and I want to have my own enterprise agreement, I've got to negotiate it, and we'll look at how that's done in the next video. This will take time to negotiate with employees, and maybe the employees are in the union, and then it gets very, very complicated. Compared to the award, which already exists, I don't have to do any negotiating. Maybe we want to go for an individual contract. Like we said, not technically part of our course, but not a bad thing to know. What is good about having an individual contract? It's the ultimate flexibility. So you look at sports teams, professional sports teams, every player gets their own individual contract to recognise their exact sort of skill level and so on. So the business creates a contract specific and unique to each employee. It's a great recruitment tool because we can offer an individual their own individual contract. So when are these used? Well, not really for your common workers. They're more for like high-end management types, like CEOs or head of marketing, head of finance. These are the people that get their own individual contract, and it's a great recruitment tool because we can give you the exact unique conditions that you want. And motivation, we can put contract clauses in there to reward them for their performance, which leads to greater motivation. What are the disadvantages? Well, just like with an enterprise agreement, costs. We're only going to have an individual contract. We only have an individual contract if it's better off overall than the award. So therefore, the costs literally have to go up for me to make an individual contract. Competitiveness, and you find this in professional sports. You're going to get jealousies and competitiveness between teammates or employees, as each person has different wage levels, and that can lead to a lack of teamwork. People looking at the next person going, why do they get more than me? And so on. And lastly, negotiation. Can you imagine, say, if it was David Jones, every single employee in David Jones having to negotiate an individual contract? That would take such a long time, and therefore that would also increase the cost to the business.